It's time to talk about all the very best comic books this week that myself and Drew will be recommending that you read. Obviously, with me is my good friend Drew from Comics Stillwater. How you doing, Drew?
I'm doing great, Wes. It's great to be here. I love talking comics. Let's do this.
Well, you love talking your comics. You had another big success on Kickstarter this week. Congratulations.
Thank you, Wes. Thank you. It's like I said, it's still surreal. It's my number 2, and did well. I can't believe this is actually happening now.
All the hard work is paying off, and there are some other comic creators out there whose hard work is paying off as well. We'll hit the indie comics, we'll hit Marvel, and we'll hit DC just like we always do. We're ready to hit the indie comics first?
Absolutely. Let's do this.
All right, so this first one I'm going to be recommending from Image is a series I've been reading it for a while, and they've definitely kind of transitioned to the next part of the story in Stillwater number 11. Chip Zdarsky and Ramon Perez is the artist on this one. I like this story. It's kind of like a take on Tuck Everlasting, the kind of immortal characters. They don't want people to expose their secrets because then they'll be burned at the stake, which literally happens a few times in this series. But I'm really enjoying this one. We got some outsiders coming in. We've got people trying to escape, and they're basically trying to escape the curse of immortality as some people want to, kind of put the clamps down and not let the secret out. I just think it's a really good series, very well illustrated by Ramon Perez, and they really up the ante as far as the tension and excitement in this issue.
I've heard nothing but good things about this series. Unfortunately, I've late for the jump on the bandwagon for this one. I know Skybound did a little short story in their Skybound X that came out. I enjoyed it. I just haven't had a chance to go back and start reading Stillwater.
Well, you, sir, are missing out. I think you're going to enjoy it. I say pick up a trade or two and see if it's for you. But it's a really good series. Chip Zdarsky is one of the best comic book writers in the entire industry. I haven't always liked his indie work. I like his work at the big too, but this is definitely the best one that he's done in quite some time. I would definitely highly recommend that one. Now, there was a better indie comic book this week, and I knew you were going to cover it, so I decided to talk about Stillwater. But Mark Miller is back with the bang. Once again, bringing the thrills in King of Spies number 2.
Literally, with a bang in this issue. Same for the first issue. Both issues, just his foot is on the accelerator and he does not let up at all. It is just full blown action. It's action packed. You got a great. It's James Bond. This is how you do a James Bond book. And there's a great scene in they're falling from the sky with our hero. I can't recommend the series enough. I don't want to spoil the fun about this. Just know it's like The Dark Knight Returns, but with a spy. That doesn't sell you. I don't know what will, besides the art.
Yeah, it's Old Man Bond, but Mark Miller was smart enough not to call it that.
Absolutely.
And the art by Matteo Scalera is just absolutely fantastic. You feel like you're in London, to be completely honest. Mm-hmm. The action's there. It's pretty brutal. It's a Mark Miller comic book. And it's got a very kinetic feel to it. Now, I love the designs and everything, but you're right. He's bringing the pain.
It's very fast paced. You got to keep up with it. It does not slow down. And this is probably going to be one of the fastest 6 issues you'll probably ever read in your life.
Absolutely. Speaking of pace, there are some other indie comic books out there, maybe not quite as fast paced. I know the one that stood out for you this week, besides these, was Department of Truth, James Tynion.
Yeah, I agree. His pacing is quite the polar opposite of King of Spies, and I haven't really been the biggest fan of Department of Truth. He's had a few issues that have stood out, they've been good. I started reading it, and some were like, "This is not really going anywhere." But with this issue, it was terrific, and the art is damn gorgeous. Essentially, we're talking about the Mothman, and we get the origins of the Mothman, as well as how he could be tied into Lee Harvey Oswald. It is really good and very suspenseful.
So those are all from Image Comics. Now let's move over to Marvel. They had a pretty darn good week this week. Me personally, I almost went with Daredevil Woman Without Fear, but there just wasn't quite enough action in it for me. It is a very good character study of Electro Nachos. Yes. Electra Nachos. But there was a better character study, in my opinion, in talking about Old Man Bond. Robert E. Howard invented the old man, kind of concept with Conan. We got King Conan. This is from Jason Aaron, someone that I do criticize quite a bit. So I definitely have to acknowledge when he does something good. Mahmoud Asrar on this one. King Conan #2, another character exploration, but as an older, more weathered, worn down Conan that has the burden of responsibility. Lots of action in this one. I personally love Conan. It's one of my favorite fictional characters that you're ever going to find, whether it be in comics, movies, novels, and whatnot. And I thought this was really, really well done.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing what he did with his son. It's like, oh, okay, that's how it's going to be. Did not see that coming, but all right, yeah, see where it goes next.
Conan's definitely one of my favorite characters. I'm glad to see that Marvel are doing right by him again. To be completely honest, Jason Aaron's Conan the Barbarian, when it started, was actually pretty good. It just kind of fell off after a bit. So I think he's more constrained with the King Conan miniseries style story. So hopefully he'll be able to get to things and get the action going. Not quite as good as Ablaze and their Sumerian series stuff.
Love it.
But this is still very high quality.
Yeah, it is. And that's one thing you said, restrained, and that's one thing that Jason Aaron does need. And I'm glad he does have it here. Otherwise we'd be seeing, Conan turn into the Phoenix, or we'll be seeing, every other character acting like Conan. It's like, no. Just keep him restrained, have a good editor, and this is what you get.
Now, there's another series out there that, I've talked a bit about Jerry Duggan's work in X-Men, and I'm not personally the biggest fan. He's had a couple of good books here and there, but I think overall it's been disappointing. But he has a good feel for Conan. Once again, you're recommending Savage Avengers, certainly starring Conan, #28. This is the end of the line for this Jerry Duggan series. It's really one of those undiscovered gems. It hasn't been read nearly enough.
That is very true. It started off like very, very strongly, and then it kind of, I want to say it kind of meandered a little bit toward the middle, but like the last several issues have been fantastic. Bringing in Kang and Conan and all the Marvel universe. It's been terrific. And this issue, it goes out with a bang. I really love this. The Kang and Conan relationship, it is fantastic. Their rivalry at the end of this, it is so awesome. It just makes you laugh, makes you smile. It is perfectly well done. It's despite Jerry Duggan's best efforts, he wrote a great story here, and I got to commend himself. Yes, in spite of himself, he did it. And Patrick Zurcher, his art the past several issues have been really damn good. And yeah, I can't recommend Savage Avengers #28 enough.
A lot of people bag on Patrick Zurcher. I'll bag on Patrick Zurcher because he does make himself look stupid on social media. But I'll tell you this, during that Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps run, where you had the primary artists for Ethan Van Sciver and Raphael Sandoval, and like Patch Zurcher was the fill-in artist. It was like, you're never going to get better than this because he's a really good artist. Yeah. He's just a little bit crazy, but, there's nothing wrong with having a Patch Zurcher illustrated comic book. If he could keep his mouth shut, he'd probably be the primary artist on a big book.
Absolutely. And we said DC stuff. He was on, I think, Superman, which was really good too, or Action Comics, one of the two during the Rebirth era. And yeah, when he's good, he is damn good. Just got to keep his mouth shut.
Absolutely. He needs to keep a lower profile. And then there's another Marvel book we needed to mention, X-Men Legends #10, Fabian Nicieza once again delivers.
Absolutely. In my opinion, this is probably the best issue of all the X-Men Legends books we've gotten. And Dan Jurgens, his art is damn good. It's not great. It's good. I'll say that. But talking too much about this issue will spoil the story about it. I don't want to spoil it, what happens. Just know that there's a dinner party with some brilliant people in the mutant community, and appearances are deceiving. So, and it takes place right when the Legacy
Gala. Get out of here with that crap.
But this is a better twist than the Hellfire Gala.
I know. I'm teasing.
Yes, I know that you read it. It's like, why the hell am I reading this? And then all of a sudden, the next page, it's like you get the twist with it. That is where you get a great writer like Fabian right there. And
absolutely, the X-Men Slack needs to send Fabian a box of chocolates. Maybe he can come in and give him a master class on how to tell a dinner party story without boring the entire audience. Absolutely.
You are 100% correct. This whole issue is a page turner because the best part, there's a ticking clock. And that's what's great about it. And I don't want to say any more. Just pick this up and read it. You will enjoy this.
Now let's get into DC Comics. I talked about it earlier in the week, but there's definitely not a DC comic, in my opinion, that tops Robin and Batman #3 this week. Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen finish off their limited series. basically Batman and Robin's like year one type story from the perspective of Dick Grayson as like a 9-year-old. I didn't think it was quite as strong as issue 2, but issue 2 was one of my favorite issues of all of 2021. I think it ends on a bang. It ends up on a very high note. I think maybe they're a little bit too, I don't know. I don't think Bruce Wayne's quite as terrible as a parrot as Jeff Lemire does. Otherwise, I think the story is really good. Enjoyed this one quite a bit.
We do see emotional growth out of Bruce in the final issue, as well as Robin. You know, we see them open up to each other, which is great. They have that great moment toward the end, and that's what I really wanted. You know, to see just some emotional growth from Bruce, and we got that. And it was a solid conclusion to a solid miniseries. Can't recommend. Recommend it enough.
You got to see Dick Grayson kind of overcome some of his trauma that he's had in his life. Had to go back to Halley's Circus and end up fighting the Croc. So
for me, when I read All-Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder, I'm going to follow it up with this. And to me, I see it as a perfect conclusion to that.
Absolutely. And this is the final comic book we'll be recommending this week. I'm a Titans fan. You're a Titans fan.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you're on the Titans United bandwagon.
I am completely on the bandwagon. I've been there since the beginning. This series has just been pure action-adventure fun. That's all it's been. Well illustrated as well. And the best part about this miniseries we've got is that there's actually a female, and she's a straight-up villain. She's an legit evil, and it's great. We finally get an evil female out of the last few years from DC, and I'm enjoying it. And like I said, the art is terrific, and just the character, what they've done with Connor, the twist they're doing with Connor in this, it's great seeing him utilized this way. And if you like the Titans, you will thoroughly enjoy this. This is it done right. Not Titans Academy, Titans United.
So DC has brought in a lot of new talents, within the last year, specifically coming off of Future State into Infinite Frontier. Kevin Scott is one of them. Are you think that he's going to be one of the talents that sticks around at DC and maybe makes a name for himself?
I hope so. It's like, that's why I hope channels like yours and mine, if we speak the praises enough, people start buying it, start spreading the praise about him, that he will get more work. And like I said, he's a new guy, and I really hope he does get more work after this, because he does have the chops for it. I do see it here.
So those are our comic book recommendations. The very best comic books of the week. We've got Stillwater, The King of Spies, Department of Truth, King Conan, Savage Avengers, X-Men Legends, Robin and Batman, and Titans United. Is there anything else that you need to say before we wrap this bad boy up, Drew?
Go check out Catfight vs. Naughty and Nice on Kickstarter, guys. You'll thoroughly enjoy it.
You got any announcements that you want to make here? Is there like a special cover coming up?
We've got two coming out. One of which is the artist of the shirt I'm wearing. I'm not going to say who it is, but he did this design right here.
Well, thank you very much. Congratulations once again on another successful Kickstarter campaign.
Thank you.
Now, those are the comic books we're recommending this week. There was also an announcement about the Amazing Spider-Man reboot coming in April with an all-new creative team. If you're a Spider-Man fan and you are not aware of the details, I'm excited. I can tell you Drew's excited, and you should definitely watch this video right here and get all the details about the upcoming Amazing Spider-Man reboot.